on you.
A large?
Well, you said the medium. I'm swimming in the medium, so the large is going to be bigger.
Yeah. A large would probably not be big on me. It might fit. It might be small. I'm a big guy.
Yeah, but they would confuse us then because both jackets say Pizza Joe on it.
Well, I mean, that could be the brand. You'd be Joe from Pizza Joe's, and I'd be Jeff from Pizza Joe's.
Actually, that's actually a very good point.
Yeah. I mean, you think Pizza Joe's a one-man shop?
Well, I didn't even name it that. I mean, I told you the story about when I bought the pizza oven in the kitchen. The guy that sold me all the equipment when I did the event for him, he decided that I'm called Pizza Joe. He made it up himself.
Yeah, that's cute.
When I go into the shop, they call me Pizza Joe.
See, what we believe about Jesus, it's way worse. But the truth is, what really is a belief, Sophie? Like, what is it? Why do you believe?
Do you believe because you were told to, or because you know it?
I mean, I feel like it's not. It's faith, right? A belief is something that you have deduced to be true.
Okay.
To objectively be true.
So are beliefs that you, as you see them today, are they objectively true? Be honest with yourself and think about
I don't feel like everything. I feel like God is outside human understanding.
Okay, not about God. Think about the rituals, the afterlife, all of those things, right? Is there objective reality to them?
I mean, there can't be because I'm not dead. I don't know.
Okay.
Do you think Shaitan is literally in jail, in prison?
No, not at all. I think it's metaphorical.
Okay, good.
Metaphorical. It's an old Jewish story.
Now, what really wasn't of civilizations adhering to a belief system? You see, you have to sit there and think about human nature.
I'm saying again. No, please.
Moral clarity and consciousness. That's what it was about.
Okay.
And submission to God, because we're here for one purpose, and that's to submit to God.
Okay. So now look at all the different denominations of submitting to God. Do you see how there's so many different beliefs that they have? One believes in reincarnation, one believes in Trinity, one believes in original sin, one believes in, heaven and hell, one believes there is no heaven and hell, one believes, So at what point are any of these beliefs objective?
Well, you can look at historical context and you can deduce it with logic.
So that's very good, right? We agree with that. The issue is that the belief comes first, and then people tend to call the evidence that they gather logic and historically accurate documentation to suit that belief that they already hold to. So, for example, there's no evidence prophets ever speaking to Gabriel. Ever. Nobody saw him. Nobody saw him speaking to the wall or the sky or anything. It was a claim. So how do you objectively expect people to believe that he was actually speaking to Gabriel?
I mean, it's the same thing as how do you objectively expect people to believe that there's a God. There are certain things that are unexplained, which is why there's divinity. why everything has a causation, right? That's why we believe that it's from the divine, it's from a higher power.
Mm-hmm.
So now, just because you don't see it doesn't mean that it didn't happen or anything.
Well, even
Bring
within
it. See, what'd you say?
even within Islam, the idea of God is something that's heavily, contested. They don't even know if God is a person-like entity sitting on a throne with his shin in his two right hands, judging us.
That's
People. There is no objective reality to even God.
because
People claim to know God, but then they also claim that he's unknowable. Isn't that funny?
okay, I'm actually going to barf because it's too much.
I told you it's too much. Afterlife and all this. I'm trying to ground you right now.
Bro, why are you gonna barf?
Because
So, Zolfi, I did a TikTok live on the pyramid of thoughts based on the Bloom's pyramid of education and basically how thinking works, right? So, at the bottom, most of society is here. They hear repeated stuff and they think it's reality, it's true, right? This is like, oh, well, obviously Prophet Muhammad is from God, and he was obviously speaking to Gabriel, and he was obviously became a prophet at 40, and he obviously, these are just obvious truths because of repetition. Now, if you go a step above that, you get into the phase of understanding. Understanding is that you take these repeated concepts and you're able to put it in your own words and explain it to another person. So, Zolfi, you can go ahead and tell the story of Prophet Muhammad to a Christian, right? You can go and explain it. That's level 2. Level 3 is being able to apply this. Now you take the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad and you're able to apply it to your everyday life. Great. Most people get stuck here because the step above this is exactly why you're about to barf. Step 4 is analysis. You take a concept out and you start analyzing it to see if there's any truth to it. This is the hardest part. This is actually called cognitive miserliness. Evolution did not let us develop beyond this point. Most people fail at this point. It's like going to the gym the first time and not being able to lift the weights. So that's why you have this eerie feeling that you're about to barf, because I just asked a question that's so apparent to you that you've never thought about. So people will quit here. But if you want to go a level above analysis, there's evaluate. Evaluate is that now that you've seen the truth and you've seen the evidence, you pass a judgment on it. When you pass a judgment on it, it requires a lot of courage and you will be shunned by the rest of society. And then the last phase of thinking and thought is the creator. That's what a prophet is. When you're able to create realities because you understand every aspect of thought and you're able to inject your reality into other people's reality. That is prophethood. So many people will go through this entire pyramid getting stuck at where you said you were going to barf. And that's the analysis phase. You just pluck it out and you start observing it for what it actually is. And they're like, no, I don't want to look at this. This is going to take me into blasphemy and I'm going to get shunned by my community and my family and I'm going to be a kafir. So I'm going to leave this and put it under the rug and go back to repetition and regurgitation of repeated information. And that's level 2. And most of society sits there.
Wait, Hadi, can you tell me what happens after the Sunnah?
So first is understanding. Is remembering. So people tell you things like Surah Fatiha, remember Surah Fatiha, repetition. Then the second stage is understanding. That's when you can tell people what Surah Fatiha means and where it came from, and you can put in your own words the gist of it. Okay. The level above that is the Sunnah, or it's called the application phase. Can you take Surah Fatiha and apply it to your everyday life and your thoughts and understanding? And the step above that is analysis, right? And again, this isn't mine. This is the taxonomy of objective thinking by Bloom's education. I think it came out from the University of Chicago and the School of Psychology. It's brilliant to sit there and think about, but the after application, it's analysis. This is where people's minds crash out. It takes a special type of mind to keep going further. Because at this point, you reach the point of what religions call, this is blasphemy, this is haram, you're an atheist, you're a kafir, you're whatever. This is the part that people get stuck in, and so they'll regress back to just simply applying what they know. Well, to the best of what I know, if I pray 5 times a day and fast in Ramadan, then that's fine. That's all I ever needed. I don't need to go beyond this, right? This is not necessary for me to think beyond this point. When you go to analysis, well, now you're going to pluck it out and observe it. You're going to see it for what it is. You're going to be critical of it. You're going to look for faults in it. You're going to look to prove it. You're not going to be afraid of asking questions. And then after you do that, thinking becomes structural. When thinking becomes structural, you start seeing things differently, and people will shun you for it. For example, if I look at my lamp in my hotel room right now, I'll just look at it as a whole and say that's a lamp, right? This is just a lamp. A person who thinks structurally will see a lamp, will see the bulb, the stem, the electrical cord that goes into the wall. You'll see all the pieces that make the lamp instead of the lamp as a whole. And if you go tell people, hey, look at this lamp, look at all these pieces and they're like, dude, what are you talking about? It's just a stupid lamp. Stop thinking like this. And that's exactly how people think about religion. If I start peeling things away from you, and I start giving you historical evidence, and I start taking the fairy dust out of the way you think about religion, you say, oh, I'm about to barf. What are you doing, dude? You're going to make me a kafir if I keep thinking like this. And that's exactly it. You're not going to become a kafir. You're going to become rational, God forbid. Because for as long as you've been alive, you've been rewarded for dogma. You got rewards for saying Imam Ali is higher than all the prophets, and you got rewards for, reciting Quran and saying it's the word of God and it's unchangeable. You got reward, you got praise. You're like, wow, you're so eloquent, smart boy. You're such a smart kid. Get to the analysis phase, we're gonna see things structurally. Hey, Zulfi, why are you thinking like this, dude? It's haram. Like, stop thinking this way. Just leave this concept. Leave this content. This is haram. You're going to become a disbeliever at the end of this. And once you pass that analysis phase, now you do something courageous and you pass judgment on it. You evaluate. What was this really? What was Prophet Muhammad trying to tell 7th century Arabs? What was the purpose of fasting? Was it because, our sins needed to be forgiven? Or was it a ritual practice designed for a sense of community, to practice discipline, you start evaluating and passing judgment? What was it about the 5 prayers a day that Prophet Muhammad, instilled in the hearts of people? Was this the entire concept of Islam, or was there a deeper message? And then you're able to pass judgment. And once you're able to pass judgment of what things really are, you start approaching something called objective reality. Well, no, that thing I was taught as a kid was not objective reality. I am not the selected sect of Islam that's, bountiful to become part of the heavens and so on and so forth. And not everyone is going to go to hell because my mommy and daddy told me they're not from us and they're born into kufr and all this. Well, I can now pass judgment on it, and objective reality becomes more real. It becomes, you start seeing God in everything and everyone. You stop seeing people from a place of judgment, and you start judging the beliefs you were taught. And then once you transcend that, you get Khomeinism, you get creatorship. When you start seeing narratives and beliefs as what they truly are, you're able to author your own beliefs and inject it into society. This is Neo from the Matrix, when he chooses to be the chosen one. That is really it. That's the whole point. When you choose to become a creator, when you have the courage to become a creator, when you've understood every aspect of life and reality itself, you have the luxury of picking up the pen and writing something like the Quran, writing a new legislation, a new theory of government that'll change the world forever. That's
I'm ready. I'm ready to be a creator.
That's the Ubermensch, my man. You're ready.
Dude, I'm ready to be the Ubermensch.
You're the next Ubermensch, man. I believe in you.
I have the book ready. I have my Quran.
Make sure you put that Shaitan spell in it.
No. I'm here to bring people to higher consciousness.
Oh, yeah.
So I have a question. What is the difference between you guys and atheists? To be honest,
We don't believe in anything except God.
What do you mean? What's the difference between us and atheists, bro? What are you trying to say? That we're theists. Like, that goes.
okay.
Brother, existence itself is God.
Nobody's more theist than us. Well, what do you?
We see everything. Atheists just see accidents.
They say all that exists is
We
material. Is like unconscious material. We say all that exists is the conscious God.
what these guys are saying, Wolfie, is similar to what Mawla Amir al-Mu'mineen said. I don't do anything unless I see Allah.
Traditional
Before it, in it, and after.
And the traditional religious people, they're like in between atheists, true beliefs. They say, yes, there's material
You
reality.
can't see God, so how do you know that He exists? Right?
If I can't see God, I would have never worshipped him. What does that tell you?
How can I worship a Lord who I've never seen?
That's what he said.
Wah.
Ali, what have you said?
Tara hadari.
Nara Hadri.
But didn't you just say? Didn't Matthew just say that angelology or whatever term he used is just fake?
It is. It's inconsequential.
And his reasoning behind it is there's no you can't see, therefore it isn't.
No. Okay, bro, so based on the questions that you've asked, and by the way, the brothers have already answered, but
That kind of is.
No, let's get...
I'm offending you.
No, you're not, no. No, I just want to help kind of facilitate a bit, maybe more kind of cater it towards the questions you're asking, right? Because you asked a question which kind of caught my attention, which was that we can't see God, therefore, how do we know he exists? And it made me think, okay, maybe we need to kind of, now that you've heard all the stuff, maybe you need to hear about epistemology, the thing that grounds everything, all truth claims, right? You know what I mean by epistemology?
You can expand on the definition of that term.
Basically, how do we know something to be true? It's the study of knowledge, right? How do you know something is true? So if I were to ask
Findings,
sorry?
evidence, facts, findings.
Okay, yeah. How do you know that 2 + 2 = 4?
Math.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me how that works. So right now in front of me, I have like these patterns on the page. One says 2. The other one says, I'm told that this means 2, that means plus. This also is 2 again. This one means the equal sign. This is the equal sign. And then there's 4 after it. And I'm told that this is a claim about truth. And not only that, but it's true. And not only that, it's necessarily true. As in, it's inescapable. The 4 is this little pattern at the end is inescapable. There's no other way. It's not an opinion. And I'm like, yeah, but it's kind of your belief. No, it's not a belief. This 4 necessarily follows as long as you agree on the definition of 2 and on the definition of plus and on the definition of 2 and on the definition of the equal sign. As long as you agree what those things mean, then 4 is necessarily entailed. So the question is, how do you go and prove that? Now you said math, that's kind of correct.
You apply it. You apply it to reality.
Yeah, but we can't do that. If I have 2 apples, right, and then I get another 2 apples, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4.
3, 4, right?
Yeah, but this is not a proof. This is just an observation. How do I know that it's necessarily true that every time you have a 2 and a plus a 2, it equals 4? You've given me, I'm in my cave, and you've given me 2 apples and another 2 apples, and I've counted 4. How do I know that this is necessarily true? The only way to do that is to have what's called a proof, right? A mathematical proof.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and there is a proof for that. There's an actual proof, and the proof is grounded in logic. That same truth is how we prove God's existence. We don't say, oh, I just feel so good, man, there must be a God, or I had a dream and God definitely exists. All those things are experientially productive and valuable, but they're not demonstrations. They're not things that I can give to someone else and show the math, right? So God's existence is demonstrated with a proof, a deductive proof. I call them deductive arguments. And it's the same thing as proving 2 plus 2 equals 4. Does that make sense? Or does that make sense?
That does make sense.
Okay. So now the question would be, okay, well, what is the proof? Now, there are plenty of rooms. I mean, maybe not Clubhouse. Basically, we're the only ones who are kind of talking like this. So you'd have to come onto TikTok. And I suggest that given that you're interested and you seem to kind of have already got over the initial nausea, and you'll no doubt get nausea in the future as things unfold. But Nassar, if you remember Brother Nassar, he opens rooms regularly. So does Ikhwan he usually does.
And Nassar now believes because of what's happening in Gaza that Imam Mahdi doesn't exist or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you can ask us. We can have a conversation about that as well. So, yeah, look, I mean, the point is, I just wanted you to appreciate that for any question, that we have to identify the relevant domain. So on questions like, does God exist, does not exist, is there a judgment day, what happens after we die, those are questions. Yeah. Those are questions for philosophy. It's not something I can go to my mum and say, Mum, like, what do you think? Yeah, that sounds nice. Or it's not something I go to a book and a book just claims that it's true. No, the relevant domain is philosophy. And the tool that we use in philosophy is logic. And logic isn't an opinion. It's not like, oh, that's your logic, this is my logic. Logic is a system. And there's a rigorous kind of framework in which we can operate. When it comes to questions about the natural world, we apply the scientific method. We don't just believe something that's written in the Bible or the Quran or in a children's book or on any text. The way that we test truth claims about the natural world is we do the science. And there's tens of thousands of sciences, right? So, and then the final one, which is usually kind of in religious discourse, is history. How do we know? How can we test a truth claim when it comes to history? Well, the tool that we use for that is the historical critical method, which, good news for you, is in its early days. So you can disregard almost everything that anyone has ever told you or that you've ever read about Islamic history. You can completely just throw it in the bin because no one else knows. Right now, everything is up for grabs. And people like Ilyas, who it's genuinely a blessing to be kind of around him, to know him, let alone be around him and have him share his ideas and his work and his research. I mean, he is the king. He is the prophet of all of this information and knowledge. He is the disclosure by Allah to the material world. I mean, that's not even an exaggeration. He's one of the leading kind of researchers in this particular field. And there's no more than a few, really. And he's kind of actually I think the youngest and by far the most intelligent and the most intuitive. So that's it. So identify the relevant domain and apply the most rational method. Why does it have to be the most rational method? All I mean by this is that we want to distinguish between truth and falsehood. We want to, to use symbolic terms that Muhammad used. We want to take ourselves from dhulumat into nur. And how do we distinguish between truth and falsehood? Well, when it comes to philosophy, logic tells us what can't be true. It doesn't necessarily tell us what's true, but it tells us what can't be true. So we know that it can't be true that there is no necessary existence. So logic tells us that the absence of God cannot be true. And usually, by process of elimination, well, if it's not true, then the opposite or the not of it must be true. So God does not exist. And we just say, okay, well, that just means God exists. That's the necessary existent. There's a proof for that. In philosophy and mathematics, we call them proofs or arguments. The conclusions, if it's a deductive argument, the conclusion is inescapable. As long as the premises are accepted, the conclusions are inescapable. They're necessary. When it comes to history and the natural world, well, now we're dealing with induction or abduction. So the conclusion is not necessarily entailed. It's just the best explanation. So what we look for in science and in history is what is the best explanation. So if we have data points, for example, the origin of humans, okay? For many centuries, everyone, millennia, people had different origin myths. The one that survived the best, at least in the kind of post-classical, late antique world, was the creation of Adam myth. And it still survives to this day because Muhammad repurposed it and he made such a big impact that people still believe it to be true. But we know that it's not true. We not only know that there's no evidence of Adam's existence or any mechanism by which, a piece of clay would turn into a human. We also have overwhelming evidence to the contrary, that actually humans evolved from common ancestor and that all life evolved from a common ancestor or common ancestors. That's applying the scientific method. In fact, there's more evidence for evolution alone than there is for all claims made within traditionalist Islam. And so as a Muslim, as a rationalist Muslim, as a true Muslim, one ought to submit to reality. And the reality that's presented to us is that evolution overwhelmingly is the best explanation for human origin.
Hey guys,
Hey Snooky.
it's me, following.
Aha, Snooky.
I found you guys.
You have found us. This is correct. You feeling better?
Missing. Yeah, much better. Alhamdulillah. So who do we have here? Who's Nadeem?
Nadeem is Nadeem in TikTok.
Okay. Where's Nassar?
Oh, Nassar, he was never here in this. Actually, there were a bunch of people in this room. They kind of, they were left kind of. But yeah, Nassar wasn't here though. But Nassar was on TikTok earlier.
Oh, yeah, assalamu alaikum, Snook.
Wa alaikum salam.
Sorry.
I was at Ikhwan al-Safa was there, Mohammed Jiba.
Yeah, Jiba was literally just here. Brethren was here. Hardy was here.
Where's Hamza?
Hamza has not been around.
Oh,
Yes.
how's you guys' Ramadan going?
Wait, you know all these guys, but you don't know me. I gotta be more active here.
Yeah, Nadeem is Sayyid Nadeem in TikTok.
I don't quite recognize the name, but hello, Nadeem.
Hello, Snooky. Hello.
By the way, Wolfie, are you there? Like, did you fall asleep or yani?
No, I'm listening.
Oh, did you understand what I was saying generally? Or?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I did I minored in philosophy, bro.
Oh, based, as they say, as the kids say.
Based. Who even created that term?
That was like 2 years ago. Based.
Yeah, but we have to revive it.
No, he's a philosopher, Maxi. I'm looks
Back in the
Maxi.
day, I love how Snooki put. Snooki, how old are you?
I'm 24.
Back in the day for you was literally yesterday.
Back in the day. Back in the day, they would say skiing. That's what we would say.
Skinner. Oh, skiing, yeah, skiing, yeah.
Skiing.
By the way, you know the word peak?
Of course.
Yeah, I literally coined that.
Really?
Yes.
No
I
way.
have witnesses. Do they say peak in America?
Yeah, we say that all the time.
I coined that.
No, you didn't. I did.
No, I'm saying wallah, I coined it with my friend.
When was the first time you used it? We need critical history analysis right now.
It would have been, so I was around like 17, so it would have been 1999, and I was standing outside my friend's entrance, okay? And I told him, let's create a word. I swear to God. Now listen, okay, let me be completely transparent. I don't know where the word comes from in terms of its usage, but if it did not appear before 1999, then there's a likelihood that I'm the one who coined it, because I just said like, the first option was leap, and then my friend said, no, that kind of sounds a bit gay. So I said, okay, what about peak? And he goes, yeah, what does it mean? I'm like, it's the best, like it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't my name go in like a book? I think it should. I think I deserve that. Maybe I should just insert it myself.
So, it became popular as modern slang in 2010, so you totally got that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Matthew, you should be famous.
Yeah, but the thing is, how am I going to prove that? I need to get my friend. But even that's
You need like a couple people to tell, just say 1999. This guy said peak before it was
I
even.
think what we should do is on the Urban Dictionary, we should say the meaning of it and then say who created
Invented
it.
by Matthew
So,
Avery.
see, this is why people should write, man. Like, if I'd written that somewhere and it just became a thing, and I kind of know how it became a thing. If it did in fact originate from me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the friend that was with me was basically a major organizer for. He was like a club. He organized like club dances, whatever. So he was like the MC of the yeah, and he did that throughout when he went to university in UCL.
Okay.
So it could have basically developed among some people there in London in like the year 2000, 2001. And then it just eventually kind of, anyway, whatever. I lost my witness.
I believe you.
I believe you, Matthew.
That's good, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
That's my contribution. Sharing is caring, so.
Lucky for you, I don't care.
I coined the word fuck nigga. That's my word.
Okay. Let's have a chill pill.
No, I'm serious. That's a hot term now on TikTok.
I coined the word Kalkhara. I'm
Abe.
the one that created
Abe, Shahr Ramadan. Abe. Wallah.
So F word, N word is not Abe.
Yeah, F word, N word is a fun word. Like, yay, we're just a bunch of FNs, you know? It's nice, but you're like, what you said, it has like an emotional damage. Like, I'm thinking about, I'm not eating all day, I'm hungry, and then you tell me that, like, wow.
Damn, I apologize for the emotional distress caused.
I think I have to sue you for emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
I would love for you to sue. I want someone to sue me.
Really?
I would love for someone
What
to
if
sue me.
I sue you on the day of judgment for all your good deeds?
Period.
I hold you in front of Allah and be like, Ya Allah, she called me Qadkhara.
Okay, alright. Now you're doing too much, Sonny Jim.
I'm gonna take all your good deeds.
Oh, please don't do that. I ain't got many to stand on, so please, I need my good deeds.
And I'm gonna make sure I get a good lawyer on the day of judgment, so you get all my bad deeds.
Ironically, I am the lawyer. So.
You're my lawyer on Day of Judgment?
No, I'm just.
If you're my lawyer, we're both going to the depths of hell under Iblis.
Oh,
Under
please don't
Iblis.
say that. Please don't say that. I want to have everything in Jannah. I want to ask for that Birkin 25 in Jannah.
I have many mansions in Jannah. Wallah al-Azim. Wallah.
Okay. Where's Ahmed? We need Ahmed in the room.
Literally, Ahmed was here. I think we have a private phone call, like, literally now, in the next 2 minutes.
Okay.
Let me see.
Hello, Ahmed.
Hello, Snooky, how are you?
Well, do you guys have Telegram or Discord that I can like?
I have both.
Okay, could you DM me?
Oh, hold on. Well, for the Telegram group is Rationalist Muslims and Allies. So we need to know that you're an ally, and there's a procedure for that.
I'm an ally.
Yeah. Are you an ally?
What does that mean? Does that mean like I have to abide by what you guys believe in?
Not necessarily, but you have to abide by something that is substantially unique to our group. So, for example, are you pro? I know you're pro-Palestine. Are you pro Wilayat al-Faqih?
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, then obviously you're because there are people in there who are not that absolutely pro Wilayat al-Faqih, but they're kind of like leaning towards it. But they offer other kind of forms of service.
What do you think Wilayat al-Faqih would say about your?
In public, Wali al-Faqih would call us kuffar mutlaq bila shak, and in private he would be teaching us what to do next. Same with like Salman, right? Abu Dhar, if he knew what Salman believed, he would have like killed him. But we're
Do
basically
you
like
think
the
that
Salmans.
Khamenei actually believes what you believe, though?
Not everything, no. So I think that Khamenei probably is kind of leaning towards non-Adamic exceptionalism. But he's so busy with stuff. But remember, we know things that he doesn't, obviously. So when it comes to certain things in science and critical history, obviously we're going to know before him. He may do. He reads a lot. I mean, he knows so much.
He wouldn't reject it. He appreciates knowledge and truth.
Yeah, if we were on a private stage with Muhammad, with Ali, with Hussein, with Khomeini, with Khamenei, and we just present them the things that they weren't aware of, within around an hour they would be fully on board, obviously, because they are excellent pattern recognition skills, so they understand, accept truth when it's presented to them. That's why they're Muslims, right? They submit to truth.
Like Ali, like Imam Ali wouldn't know quantum mechanics, right? But if one of us have like specialized and studied quantum mechanics and just teach Imam Ali the basics of quantum mechanics and go through from the beginning to the end, just a general, he wouldn't reject it. He's not going to say like this is wrong.
Yeah, in fact, he would. If it was Muhammad, he would say, "This is like this particular thing, whatever it is. It may not be quantum mechanics. This particular thing, we have to repurpose this for this reason, for example, for whatever reason." That's it. These people were bidomainal geniuses. These were the most epic individuals. Epic. We can't even appreciate their self-sacrificial nature. They did something. Think about the creativity and genius of Muhammad. Absolutely epic individual. And alhamdulillah, because of us, we're the only ones who actually can defend Muhammad objectively. These dogmatist traditionalists, I'm not talking about every dogmatist traditional, I'm talking about the ones who are just really vulgar and like horrible against, truth.
Share, buddy.
And Snooki is so I genuinely really, when I was 24, I don't know, man. I think Snooki has some epic parents.
Oh.
Yeah, so this is it. it's someone who has excellent pattern recognition and has close to zero ego is the most ready to apprehend truth. Apprehension of truth when it's presented, or apprehension of reality when it's presented, and then being creative enough, as just like Hardy said before, I don't know if you were here, Wolfie, to create, to recognize the ills of your time, and to not just like protest or to like write a book about it, to speak in public and move masses, establish an entire religion. That is God level. That is God level humanity. That is basically God in human form. Now, he wouldn't be like, if I was saying this to Muhammad, he would say, yeah, I'm completely right, that's really good. But don't tell this to the general public. Why? Because these people are still polytheists. And they don't understand the process by which you got here to this realization. Right, okay, you're right.
Hashimi.
Hashimi. Oh, Hashimi. Which Hashimi? Let me see. Oh, I don't know which Hashimi it is. Is it the Odyssey?
The Irani.
Yo, hi guys. I'm the main double G double O double F Hashimi. What's up?
That's the one.
Double G, double O, double F, goof. You're a goof, nigga.
Hola, I miss you guys. Messi, how are you, bro?
Good, bro. Long time. What are you doing? What are you not doing?
Yo, Hashimi, bro, where you been?
He's been on this app for a straight month in Irani rooms, by the way.
Are you stalking me, Wolfie?
No, I'm just saying, like, you really didn't miss them. You're lying. Because you could have came in.
Is he propagating Khameneism or Pahlavism?
Bro, Reza Pahlavi has no, like, credentials and people want to vote him in. It's just, it's not even people. It's, like,
You
very...
don't really want him as
What
interim.
does Hashimi propagate? Khameneism or Pahlavism?
Yeah, it's like you want a lamb chop, right? And they tell you want McDonald's or Burger King. Both of them. It's like, I want the lamb chop. Why do you want me to choose between Burger King and McDonald's, right?
My God.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, I mean, it's interesting that Matthew is praising Khomeini, and I do agree to some aspects. He had some credentials which made him an extraordinary, revolutionary person, right? But like to take it into account, Khomeini has different viewpoint than Khamenei. For Khomeini, he would rather sacrifice what is good for the government than what he personally believed. So he was advocating for what the people wanted, benefited them. But Khamenei is not like this. He's a very stubborn person.
Hashimi, what if the people have been propagandized by BBC International, Iran, BBC Farsi, Iran International, basically like Mossad propaganda. What do when people are working against their own interest and the interest of their nation? So, like, I'm giving you a hypothetical scenario. What should a ruler do when the people have been there's been social engineering that's been done, and the people are basically working against the interest of the...
I had this conversation with you like for 2-3 hours. We talked about the influence of media, and I actually brought a very important point for you, that the media would have not have any influence if there was not any flaw in the system.
Yeah, but there's always going to be a flaw. There is never going to be a utopia. Right?
Yeah,
so
but
like,
the flaw is not like for example,
Russia. 1 second.
Bro, for example, the question is, why can't Iran use media to infiltrate the American society? It is because the American society...
No, because it doesn't have the same budget, and it doesn't have the satellites, the budget.
Bro, Iranian national TV has more budget than...
One second, bro. Iran cannot compete like militarily or like in the same level as America, because they're like, one's a global superpower, one's like a regional power that's under sanctions and under a lot of economic hardship and so on. Yeah, So it's not just as easy as why doesn't Iran do the same thing as propaganda? Well, because America has no problems. America is utopia, therefore no one can propagandize the American public.
No, I'm not saying they don't have problems or utopia. I'm saying in the society level, right?
Yeah, and the American public themselves are propagandized heavily. To the point that when it comes out that their whole government is captured by a foreign nation, blackmailed, and the judges, the president, the most powerful people ruling their country are compromised. There is not even a protest or like a march. That's how propaganda is.
You mean the Bajabaz?
Yeah. So like now, what does a country do? Like whether it's Ukraine or Iran or China or any country, when half of its population has been propagandized, whether like the enemy is using legitimate concerns or just made up nonsense, that's irrelevant. But what does the country do when it's half its population has been propagandized to commit terrorism in its own soil?
Give me 5 minutes, I'm gonna come back. I have to do this phone call. Give me 5.
Yeah, okay.
He has to go to Reddit to what's the best response to this shubha.
But also, yeah, like people in Iran, a lot of them that are protesting have nothing to lose, right? Because of the sanctions, people are crippled from being impoverished.
The economic situation in Iran is bad. However, it's not as bad as Yemen or Lebanon. There's countries with
99% of the value of the currency has been destroyed. That's not bad.
It is bad, but the economic welfare of the people, like you don't have people starving in Iran from malnutrition, like in Yemen. Right? However, Yemen, because it doesn't have internet access and all of the population of Yemen is actually not as propagandized as the population of Iran. So when you have Western propaganda that's working to get the population to work against its own interests, so the West can implement a regime change, like they did in Ukraine, like they did in Georgia.
I get it, but why can't the people of Iran, or even the Palestinians, actually just become peaceful activists and say, okay, we don't want conflict anymore. We're going to disengage, demilitarize. Let's just see how this goes. Hello?
1 second. If you're gonna engage, just listen and then speak. Okay, so I'll bring you back, but don't interrupt.
You're a Khomeini, and I can tell you're a hardcore Islamist. No problem.
Yes, yeah. So the people of Iran and the allies of Iran, they're not the ones that are in genocide at the moment. So they're fighting against the genocidal terrorist regime of America and Israel, and they're the Western Europeans, their allies. The collective genocidal regimes is who these people are fighting against. Okay, so when you come up and you're speaking nonsense, just acknowledge that this is the situation first. Because if you don't even acknowledge the reality that's happening, then I'm just speaking to a complete deranged idiot. Come on, do you agree that the reality of the world that you have the U.S. government along with the Israelis committing a genocide? Come on, this guy. Come on. Do you agree to this reality first?
Agree that projection is real, and that when you call me a deranged idiot, you're the deranged idiot?
Okay, so are you gonna answer the question?
I told you. All communication is projection, you deranged idiot.
Okay, so see how these people cannot engage.
They can't, yeah.
I asked him a straight up question. We have to first on facts. If we can't agree on simple fact, on the reality of what's happening around the world, then he's just gonna speak nonsense.
Hamza.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Do you know who I am?
No.
You don't know me?
Abu Yasin?
You still don't know me?
No. Sorry, man. You sound like Abu Yasin.
Bro, I'm Ali Ahmed, bro. You don't know Ali Ahmed?
Oh, Ali Ahmed.
Yeah, bro.
Habibi.
Habibi, bro. You don't know who I am, bro.
I still have no idea. Well, that's my bad, too.
Well,
I'm just bad with names, bro.
dude, I'm the Persian kid who calls you for vapes, bro.
Oh, what's up, Ali? Now I remember.
Bro, I hopped on your TikTok and I told you God had a dick.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
You were debating the Sunni guys.
So, anyways, how's your Ramadan going, everybody? Do you guys wake up for suhoor and stuff, or no? You guys fast differently, too.
Just drink water and maybe a few dates.
Same.
I can't have like a heavy suhoor because I don't know, I just feel sick in the morning afterwards.
How do you guys decide how to fast, though?
Just follow the prophets, Prophet Khomeini.
What about you, Wolf? How's your Ramadan going?
Doing great, bro. Today was a very successful day for me, I feel.
Assalamu alaikum. Matthew, I want to ask you a question. How's the discussion coming along with Sayyid Ali? Has he contacted you, or have you contacted him?
So I had a discussion with the brethren, and we came to the conclusion that there's no point discussing any of these topics if the others, if the traditionalists don't even understand our epistemology. So we are most likely going to just message him saying that any discussion that is planned is going to have to be on epistemology. That's where everything begins and ends.
That's fine. Let's see what he says, isn't it?
Hopefully. Yeah, we'll see.
Wait, what did you guys want to discuss?
Well, I mean, we've never really wanted to discuss with them, but over the last few years, they've just been, as you probably know, they've just been attacking us in every possible way, really, verbal abuse, insults. Just everything.
Who are these people?
Just basically the dogmatist traditionalists, the ones that are the most vocal, so like Muhammad Rafid and Abu Hamza, Shadi.
Oh, really? Where are they?
I mean, it was on Clubhouse, and then we moved on to TikTok, and now they're on TikTok. Alibaba, those kind of individuals.
Alibaba knows you guys?
Alibaba's there?
He's the biggest idiot, bro.
Oh my god.
Nobody even holds to his traditional view.
Yeah. And so they were begging.
I was Alibaba, bro.
They've just been acting like absolute clowns. So obviously because Bayat is, really, he's just a decent person. He's got class, They were begging him because they know he has reputation. The reason why he has reputation is not because he believes what believes. No, he will takfir us in a minute. But that's not important. That's his theology. But he has
the
class.
sweetest man in the world.
Well, he has class and he has his own position, and so he has reputation, and so they know that they'll never have that, right? Because they're just clowns. So they were begging him to basically kind of de-platform us. Not that we're ever on his platform actually, but just to kind of like have this fatwa against us. So Sayyid declined, as he would do, because he's like, I need to speak with these guys. So he reached out to us in different ways and said, let's have a conversation. And then he said, pick the 5 most controversial topics. So obviously there's a bunch of topics that, are incredibly blasphemous for traditionalists. And so, we had to think about the 5 most controversial topics, but then we realized that, in the end, it's kind of pointless. The only way to help him understand is to understand what our epistemology is. But topics, just to answer your question, topics would include eternal creation, the fact that creation is eternal. That's really where it started actually a few years ago. And then obviously it's just kind of evolved. So everything, it's just evolution versus creation of Adam theory, or myth, evolution theory versus creation of Adam myth. The occultation legend. So, they obviously believe in the occultation of the 12th Imam. We don't. The historical critical method, which obviously demonstrates that a lot of the...
Do you guys believe in the 12th Imam at all?
Some of us are maybe convinced that Imam Hassan al-Askari did actually have a son. And, but the occultation legend that was most likely manufactured, no one accepts that as like historical or true.
So do you believe like the Sunnis do, where he's not born yet?
No, so basically, well, firstly, you need to understand the concept of ghaiba in the first place, right? Was it something which was a newly invented concept at the time of Imam Hassan al-Askari, or what? So the answer to that is no, right? Ghaiba is actually a very old concept. In fact, I would even go back to even old apocalyptic Jewish literature, right? But in the traditional Shia sense, ghaiba actually begins by the demise of Amir al-Mu'mineen, right? That certain of his Shias actually did believe that he went into ghaiba and he's going to return back and rule the world. So
why does he keep
Serious
saying Arabic words?
drug laundering, money laundering, drug selling.